And I think we struggled a little bit on the Friday game to find the necessary urgency, intensity to start the game, and that's something we talked about in the second game. That improved in the first half quite a bit in the second game. But I think what the players are finding out in this conference is that these games are very, very tight, and it's coming down just a couple moments here or there. Unfortunately, we're kind of on the negative side of those moments this weekend, and those teams capitalize on their chances. We had chances as well, but didn't capitalize. And a lot of these games in the conference are going to come down to those opportunities. So we're just going to keep plugging away, continue to try to create more chances, which is inevitably going to lead to some more scoring opportunities, and then we have to convert with our execution. Yeah, I mean, this is the most difficult stretch of our season right here. Going down to LA and then through the Bay Area on the same weekend, and then turning around 3 days later and having to get back on a bus and compete against a good team. This is just the nature of college soccer, right? I think this is a good year for our younger players to understand how intense the schedule is, and there's no real breaks. The games just keep coming at you. But honestly, I've been really pleased for the most part with this group. They haven't given up. Their work rate has been good. They are sticking together, and I think we're continuing to progress in certain areas and other areas where we need to see some more consistency. As far as Thursday's game goes, another good opponent at home. Tactically, we might have to do a few different things, but the expectation is that the effort and the focus is going to be there. Just the Stanislaus game in particular, because that's what we're focusing in on. Highly tactical team. They'll throw a different system that we've seen this year, I think. And they like to knock the ball around. They'll press us at times. Really comfortable at home. It's very similar to the teams that we've played. All the teams in this conference are very good, tactically aware, and have good attacking players, are organized. And so we'll have to come up with a good game plan, and the players will have to execute it. Yeah, I mean we'll worry about Sunday's game after Thursday, but getting back home will feel good for 3 games. I felt like the last home stretch that we had some really good moments, and kind of disappointed we didn't come away with 3 points in one of those games, and so we'll have another opportunity to do that, and then we're inching up on the last home weekend of the season and honoring our seniors, and so that's going to be important for us, and hopefully that'll give us a boost as well.
Yeah, obviously we're getting to those games where legs are getting tired, and obviously we're not that deep. We have some hurt players, so it's really important to just recover after the games and stay healthy as much as we can. But definitely after these last 2 games, I think it's important to just keep pushing hard, keep grinding, because I know that this team can really do some great things. So obviously just keep grinding. I mean, playing at home is obviously very fun. You get the fans, just the whole environment is obviously better than being away. So I'm really excited for those coming up home games because I think it's going to be good for us to hopefully allow us to get some wins. So, yeah. No, yeah, I think it's important to just focus on our own game. You can always look at the other team and their tactics and how they like to play, but at the end of the day, all that matters is how we play and if we stick to our game plan and how we like to play.
I mean, again, it wasn't like we played poorly. I mean, Dominguez are a very good team. I mean, they're obviously having a lot of success. I mean, they're in first place in our conference, undefeated in conference. So they're obviously a good team. And, it wasn't like at any point during that game I was feeling like we were playing bad or we're not there. I mean, I thought it was a game that we were managing the game very well. We were doing the things that we wanted to do. I mean, we're making some mistakes that we haven't been making all year long defensively, particularly in the first 6 games. But having said that, we're also down 4 or 5 guys who are out of the regular playing lineup. And so we have guys that are being asked to do things that they weren't earlier in the year, guys that are playing out of position, guys that are in different situations. And so it's not as smooth and clean as it was earlier in the year. And so we're just grinding through it, and guys are trying to work it the best that they can and to be successful. But I mean, I think it's just the nature of how this process works. As we move through the year, we're going to have injuries, and when we have to make changes, it's going to be a process of trying to move that forward the best that we can and being as successful as we can in those moments. But it's always going to be a fight. We don't really have the ability to look beyond the next game that's coming. And so all of our focus is on Stanislaus. And, they've been a little inconsistent from the standpoint that they've had some difficult losses, but they've also had some good results. But like us, they're just trying to find their way in the conference, and they're competing and playing hard. I mean, if you watch their last two games against LA and Pomona, two of the best teams in our conference, you could look at the score line and think, oh, one thing about them. But if you actually watch the game, you realize they were very competitive. They're, high pressing, good possession oriented team with some really technical, talented players. So, it's not the case that we're just going to go down to Turlock and that all of a sudden they're just going to hand us the game and here's 3 points and go home. Every game is difficult. Every game is going to be against a very difficult opponent that's coached very well, that's going to be very organized, and they're going to come out and try to do the best that they can against us. The fact that they're playing at home as well over this game on Thursday is really going to be helpful for them. So I expect it's going to be as difficult a challenge as we've had this entire year. We always say winning at home is a must. I mean, if you're going to make the conference tournament, in our conference, which is always a difficult chore, taking care of your games at home is the number one priority. But we're at a point in the season where we've got about 7 games left, and we don't really have the luxury of taking any games lightly. I mean, every single game is a potential make or break game for us this season. And so, we've been off to a decent start so far this season, a little bit, dropped off in the last few games. But if we don't pick it up and we don't pick it up soon, the number of games that are in front of us keeps shrinking every week. And the ability to move that process forward gets harder and harder and harder. So, yeah, I mean, Sunday's a tough game, but so is Thursday. And then so is next Friday. And so, I mean, I don't think that there's any games that we're going to play for the remainder of our conference season that are going to be more or less important than any other. I mean, every single game.